Hello, it's Sport the Money, and I'm Vasyl Lopez becomes youngest world lightweight champion at 23. Jepchirchir becomes a women's half marathon world record breaker, and Van Dijk out for undisclosed number of time. And lots more sporting action from the weekend as your number one sports podcast begins in a moment. So Teofimo Lopez has beat Vasyl Lomachenko by a unanimous points decision in Las Vegas to become the undisputed world lightweight champion. The American's win over the Ukrainian means he now has the WBA, WBO and WBC franchise titles to his IBF belt. 23-year-old Lopez dominated the first half of the fight, and despite a late rally by Lomachenko, Lopez was awarded a 116 to 112, 119 to 109, 117 to 111 win by the judges. The result means he is the youngest fighter to become a four-belt undisputed champion, and he maintains his unbeaten record with 16 wins from 16 bouts. 32-year-old Lomachenko was kept quiet early on, and although he put in a strong effort in the later rounds of the fight, it was not enough to stop him from suffering a second defeat from his 15 fights. So Kenya's Perez Jepchirchir has broken our own world record for a women-only half marathon. The 27-year-old ran 1 hour 5 minutes 16 seconds at the World Half Marathon Championships in Gdynia, Poland. Germany's Melatisa Kacheja was second, with Ethiopia's Yalemzerf Yehulao in third. In the men's race, Uganda's Jacob Kiplimo claimed victory in a championship record time of 58 minutes and 89 seconds. In the women's race, the top three all round on the Jepchirchir's previous record of 1 hour 5 minutes and 34 seconds. So a superb second half display gave New Zealand a 27-7 win over Australia in their second Bledisloe Cup match at a nearly sold out Eden Park in Auckland. We are talking rugby now. Now, after a dramatic draw in the opening game last week, the All Blacks led 10-7 at halftime and scored 3 quick tries after the restart to run away with the game. The victory means New Zealand's impressive record at Eden Park, where they have not lost in 44 tests since 1994, and where Australia have not won since 1986. The All Blacks now need to win only one of the 2 remaining games in the Bledisloe series, which will be played in Australia as part of the upcoming Tri-Nations tournament, to retain the trophy they have held since 2003. The game was played in front of a crowd of over 46,000 people after COVID-19 restrictions were lifted earlier this month. Moving on now to the rest of Africa, Zamalek of Egypt have secured an away victory in the first leg of their African Champions League semi-final, and it was a first half header from Moroccan Achraf Benchaki, a former player of Raja as Wydad, was enough to give Zamalek the victory. Al Hakli, on the other hand, have a 2-0 advantage over Wydad, and we could see an all-Egyptian final in the CAF Champions League. So, going to the story on the CAF Champions League, Benchaki's goal in the 18th minute came off a cross from Ahmed Saed that dipped beyond Raja's goalkeeper Anis Zeniti. The overall winners of that particular meeting will meet either Al Ahly or Wydad Casablanca. Now let's go into today's discussion. On the line we have Azu Prince Onicha. Good morning, Azu.
Good morning to you, Bimbo.
Fantastic.
Great to be here. Yeah. Good to talk sports even with the whole situation right in Nigeria at this point.
Well,
we can still talk sports.
Yeah, we can still talk sports. The world continues to move, and we hope it will all move in the right direction at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, we are the constituency. We are the constituency of what is happening right now. The Ministry of Sports is actually still under being overseen. The youths are being overseen by the Ministry of Sports. Even the Minister of Sports in Nigeria has had a talk with the Inspector General of Police over this issue, and we hope they will come to a conclusion.
The youth are not even moved by all of that, but we won't delve into politics and start talking all of the stuff. But like they said, it's a Ministry of Youth and Sports. So I understand why Sunday Diary is doing all of that to make sure that we get everything back on track. He came into office and tried to be as active as possible. I think they want everything reformed in the country. Yeah? We hope we'll get what we want.
Yeah.
As youth.
Yeah. Let's hope so as well. All right, let's talk some sports. And one of the big stories coming out of the action that we saw over the weekend. Liverpool's centre-back Virgil van Dijk will be out for several weeks following the need to have a surgery on a knee ligament injury that he sustained during the 2-2 draw at Everton on Saturday. The club has not said for how long he will be out, but I mean, an ACL injury from experience means you will be out for quite some time. Now, what effect do you think this will have on Liverpool, considering, how considering their record when Virgil van Dijk is not in defense playing for Liverpool?
Now, it all started 2 weeks ago. Even it was good they lost that game against Aston Villa. It was a wake-up call already. So now the question or the debate has been, is it Van Dijk's brilliance or Alisson's control from the goalkeeping department helping the defense to control them and help his own side? Because Van Dijk was in that game against their opponent 2 weeks ago, Aston Villa, and they lost scandalously. But they didn't have an Alisson. That's the goalkeeper, Alisson Becker. It's going to be a huge blow for Liverpool this period. They control things against the highest scoring team in English Premier League currently, that's Everton, conceding to it looked like a game they should have won based on past records, but the form Everton are on at this point in time is something to talk about. Now, from rumours, there is no way Van Dijk will be out for 4, 5, 6, 7 months, or maybe out of the season. It's still rumours at this point. It's not very clear. And before the week comes out, we'll know what is happening. But even if it's 1 month, I tip Liverpool to defend this title, but with Van Dijk out of the team and the much you'll also be suffering from Alisson Becker, it's going to be a very, very tough one to call. Now, their fight to be on keeping tabs with the top 4. I think that's what Liverpool will be switching to right now. Yeah, they've got some very fantastic players, but who plays that position at least from now till January if he doesn't return? It's going to be a very big call to answer. Now, players are tired. Look at what happened to Kevin De Bruyne. And before that injury in Belgium, he was already talking about how many games they had to play and how he feels things could be done the better way. These are top players who control England. In the defensive department, it is Van Dijk. In the goalkeeping department, it is Alisson Becker. For midfield, it is De Bruyne. Aguero, the top man, just came back for Manchester City. These are top guys in different positions, already talking about them. They're already selling on them. And you're seeing some injuries, and they're even fixing international breaks in between. It's going to be really tough for Liverpool. Really, really tough. Like I said, you should be switching attentions now to top 4. I'm not ruling them out of winning the league title. It's going to be really tough. It will take a lot from Mane and Salah and maybe Firmino, then Gomez and any other person who is partnering in defense. Matip have to be very consistent and be on top of their game. I think this is where Jurgen Klopp's brilliance has to pop up, has to come in. He has to show that he's a super coach, not just playing just his first 11. Now it has been halted rather. He has to do something spectacular, and this is where, if they win this title this season, it's Jurgen Klopp who won it, not the players.
So, if he's out for the rest of the season, would you advise Jurgen Klopp to maybe get a replacement for him in January?
I see Jurgen Klopp as one who's not a buying coach, but if he tries that this time around, it's going to cry so badly at the end of the season. And clubs are not patient these days, although it's far from it. You hear that Jurgen Klopp was fired because they couldn't keep up the pace. But is there anything that can happen in today's football? I think there's nothing that cannot happen. If Roberto Di Matteo could win the Champions League for Chelsea for the first time in their history and they got fired, I don't think anybody will be left out of that position of leaving the club. But we should not start putting fears in our hearts. Liverpool still have things under control, but they need one super defender, at least somebody who can level up with what Van Dijk has been doing for them. Now the challenge will now be, do we want to get him permanently or get him on a loan? When Van Dijk comes back, he goes out. Because I know some coaches don't like keeping too many players because they can't control them, and I think Jurgen Klopp is one of them. It was a hard thing for him to even get Thiago Alcantara. Not because he didn't need him, but he just felt, I think I should just work with who I have. His first 11 is always super. That's why when he crumbles, it's very hard for his team to pick up. Look at what happened to him at Borussia Dortmund. He had the best of football played. He won the league back-to-back, was in the Champions League final. But keeping up the pace later, and the players were getting tired, and it affected the team even after he left. So the same thing with some of the top coaches. The same way he also has that challenge. He has a lot of players on the bench, but keeps tabs with his first 11. And when those first 11 start having issues, he starts having issues with the players. It's a big challenge. It's going to be really tough for Liverpool at this point. Van Dijk is a big player, but he has to get this one defender in January.
All right, still on the English Premier League, Manchester United 4-1 win over Newcastle. Even though all the 5 goals were scored by United, starting with an own goal there by Luke Shaw. So United back to winning ways, some will say, but is it too early to make that assertion?
A good win for them, first off. I knew United will always have this time in the season. Once you have a Rashford, you have a Martial, and every other player on the team click. Mata is always my favorite player for Manchester United. Unfortunately, he doesn't get to see much of football. I like the passing game a lot, and I like players who are extremely brilliant. But you need power to cope in the Premier League. I saw Mata with Chelsea. I saw a lot of things in that game. I saw Bruno Fernandes also come in to help the team. We rested some players for the Champions League, I think. We saw Fred and I think McTominay playing in defensive midfield position. A rare defensive midfield position was seen. And you have a Van der Beek coming in from the bench. They've got a great squad, I must tell you. They might not be a team to win the league, which I'm not ruling them out of, but they've got a great squad to get the results. They are grooming back. I think Solskjaer is a man who grows with time. Who knew they were going to qualify for the top 4? I was just one of those who was clamoring that all the Manchester United fans should calm down, that they will finish in the top 4. And it actually happened. So when you've seen a coach like that who takes time to build again, I think you just have to give it to him. But if you want the league title, then you have to push him harder. But if you want to keep pace on winning games and keeping tabs with the top 4, Solskjaer is that man for Manchester United. And I think they will win more games as time goes. And I think they play Chelsea next, and it will be another huge test for the team. Yeah.
So Arsenal, what's happening with them? 2 straight losses but some might say it's to the top contenders, but that should not be an excuse if you used to be or considered one of the top contenders. It seems they're not ready for the big leagues just yet.
I have a challenge with Mikel Arteta. Fantastic coach. Has shown what he can do with the team. He's shown that he can get something out of nothing. But I'm always scared of coaches who do too much of rotations. Arteta doesn't still have a first 11. The only player who is a consistent starter in that team is maybe Granit Xhaka, Bernard Leno when he's fit, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Willian is also becoming a mainstay. But the midfield, today you see Saka, tomorrow is Ceballos, next tomorrow is El Neni. You have to decide. At this point in time, you've been in the team for almost a year now as a senior coach. You have to have decided who is my starter, who should be on the bench. That helps the team. If you're changing one player, it's fine. But when you change 2-3 players, I think he approaches every game by the team they want to play. And it's a huge challenge for them at this point. Arsenal have got good sign-ups. They've got a midfielder in Thomas, and the man Thomas Partey, who moved in from Atletico Madrid. They've got a great side, but it's a high time Arteta decided who is in his first 11, at least first 9 players, to be sure we know what we're putting out. We just change strategy in the middle of the game. Benitez did that a lot at Liverpool, and he failed woefully at some point. And he did that with Chelsea, and he failed. these are coaches who have tried too many rotations. I think that's the only challenge that Tata is facing. They should lose some of these games, but in style. And that's what they've been lacking.
Well, all right, moving out of England right now to Spain. Barcelona and Madrid recorded losses over the weekend. Too early to be worried? Is it a blip?
For Real Madrid, I don't think they will retain the title. But they've got a great team to actually normally secure the top 2 positions. What is the problem? I don't think there's no commanding figure in the Real Madrid team like since when Ronaldo left. Bale was supposed to be the next man, but now he's also out of the team and they've always been challenges. Who is that commanding figure? I don't see a Vinicius Junior taking Real Madrid anywhere. I don't see it would have been the likes of NCU, but injuries have crept into that team. Modric is not the Modric we used to know. And Madrid, most times when they lead the attack, they have a great name. It is no early scare. They will finish in the top 2 or top 3 at worst. For Barcelona, they've got a new coach. They are playing one of the best footballs we've seen them play in a long time. It might take a while to gel, but there's something I'm not saying. Messi is not being utilized as much as he is. Now it's a two-way thing. It's either Messi is still not over the issues he's having, or he's being played out of position. Yeah, they've won the other games they played. I think they drew one and lost this one now. Coutinho has been at the helm of affairs. It's not about who started or not. I'm not seeing them exploiting the flanks with the quality they've got in that team. Griezmann is also another challenge in that team still yet. We should see a Griezmann who can hold on to the ball, not passing the ball with ease. He missed the best chances in that particular game. Look at the young man who came in to take the position of Coutinho, Pedri. Wonderful football they played. Barcelona didn't play badly, but like I said, they were not the commanding figure in that particular encounter. They couldn't get shots on target. They had just 2 against Getafe 5. That should be what we'll be seeing with Barcelona. They can do more. And I think the coach, Ronald Koeman, has to do more to see how these players can get the best out of themselves. Barcelona has got a very, very great squad to win the league and if possible win the Champions League. The only challenge that we're having is what I still talk about. One strong defender in tough days. They still don't have it. PK can flop at any point. Langley, fine player with the ball, but is it that commanding factor? They would have had that in Titi, but it's not giving them what they want at this point. Injuries are also creeping in. So for Barcelona, they most likely will win the league title. But if they have to do that, they have to understand how to play the flanks. They don't even have a striker. That's another challenge they are facing. They've been playing false nines all the while. You see Lionel Messi standing in front. You see Griezmann standing in front. And we don't know who is permanent right there. Yeah, it works at some point, but there are times you need a decisive factor in the front. Luis Suarez used to be that man, and they didn't get a replacement, and they might get punished. But not for the league, not for the La Liga. I'm looking at the Champions League most likely.
All right, finally, it was the Zlatan show over the weekend. Great win. But my concern is, at 39 years old, should Zlatan 39 should Zlatan be Milan's deliverer?
Okay, great player, I tell you, any day, anytime. You see, I was looking at the starting and I'm like, this man is just somebody who doesn't want to leave football anytime soon. But like you said, there should be a backup for him, or he should even be a backup plan. Yeah. So he's doing it already and they are winning the games. I think Stefano Pioli just knows what he wants. There is something that used to happen in Italian football before now. The older you get, the better. But funnily, Zlatan Ibrahimovic is not an Italian. You can call him an Italian because he's played the best of his football. The Juventus, Inter Milan, and now AC Milan. What I'm saying is, Luca Toni at some point in time was that man. He played for Fiorentina, started shining at 28, left the Bayern Munich, came back to Hellas Verona, and still became the top scorer in the league. Look at what Fabio Quagliarella is also doing in Italian Serie A. They get better when they are older, but for 39-year-old Zlatan, I don't think Milan have a great squad. I think everything should just be what Stefano Pioli has been able to do to that team. I'm really surprised at the results they get against even top sides. Congratulations to them defeating the likes of Inter Milan and any other top team that comes their way. They will just continue getting the results, but it will be a matter of time because age will tell at some point in time. They just need to be for both. Congratulations to Zlatan. If he can do the job, why not? He should carry on, but they should get a backup for him. Somebody who can always come in and do almost what he would do when he's injured or when he decides to leave football.
All right, and well, with that, we have come to the end once again. Thank you so much for being our guest on the show, Azu.
A pleasure.
All right, so that's the end of yet another edition of Spot the Money. Conversation continues on Twitter at Africa Biz Radio and online at www.africabusinessradio.com. Until our next episode, I'm Bimbola Aoyele. Keep winning.